Welcome to Release Your Potential Now with Jane, your weekly dose of energy, wisdom, and healing, where we explore how energy shapes your life and how you can shift it to thrive in every area physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Each week, we'll dive into practical tools, real-world examples, and quantum energy perspectives to help you stay positive, navigate challenges, and reclaim your personal power. Whether you're dealing with stress, seeking balance, or curious about the energetic world around you, this is your space for insight, growth, and transformation.
Hello, and welcome to Release Your Potential Now with Jane. I'm Jane Phillips, your host, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. So let me start by saying Happy April Fool's Day. Now, don't worry, there are no pranks coming your way in this podcast. Just a little lightness and laughter to help you move through your day with more ease and less stress. So this month in April, we're diving into the theme From Stressed to Empowered in honor of National Stress Awareness Month. Each week, I'll be sharing tools, insights, and practices to help you reduce stress, shift heavy energy, and return to your natural state of peace and clarity. And I understand for some of you that may not be a natural state, but that's your body's natural state, and that's what we're trying to get to. So just understand that. And what a better way to begin with than something simple, free, and completely transformative, which is humor. So today's episode is called Laugh It Off, how humor helps you de-stress and heal. So we're going to be exploring how laughter isn't just fun, it's medicine. So let's dive in and lighten up. So why is laughter good medicine? You've heard that before. Have you ever laughed so hard you cried or felt like a weight lifted upward? That's just not coincidence. Laughter has actual physical and energetic effects on the body and mind. So let's start with the science. So what actually happens when you're happy and joyful and laughter, it lowers cortisol. And that's the hormone your body releases when you're stressed. So when you're fight or flight, it allows you to be stronger. And when cortisol goes down, your body relaxes. So it's a hormone for fight or flight. It also increases oxygen intake, which stimulates your heart and lungs and boosts your circulation. You think better. You get blood to your brain. Plus, it releases endorphins. So endorphins are produced in the brain and help relieve pain, reduce stress, and improve mood. Those feel-good chemicals create a natural high. So, if your body cannot produce and release enough endorphins, you may develop anxiety, body aches and pains, depression, sleep problems, and even addictions. When you're not feeling well, you go to other substances to help you cope. So when it comes to happiness in particular, the primary signaling chemicals include serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, which we just discussed, and oxytocin. And for those of you who haven't been a mother or had that experience, oxytocin actually is when you have a newborn child, helps mothers bond with their newborn babies. And it'll even work with the husbands or the men involved with these new children. So it doesn't stop here or there. Laughter relaxes your muscles, it lowers your blood pressure, and even strengthens your immune system over time. So yes, laughter is fun, but also incredibly good for you. Now let's look at this energetically. Laughter shifts your vibration. It can literally break up your heavy or stagnant emotional energy that's stuck in your energy field. Think of it like shaking a snow globe. That moment helps your energy body release what it doesn't need. So it might be releasing grief or worry or tension and return to its natural flow state. I remember a client a few years ago. This is a personal story to share with you. And at the beginning of my practice as a medical intuitive, This person came to me overwhelmed with her stress. And during our session, I removed the exact words she had expressed, which were, I am stressed. The exact words she expressed. So I removed those exact words from her cellular memory by doing a simple quantum chart. And you don't need to understand what that is, but it's a protocol that I use as a medical intuitive, and it was early days. So this took about 10 to 15 minutes. And what I do is I remove those exact words from her cellular memory so she doesn't have access to it anymore. And this took about 10 to 15 minutes. And sometimes it takes longer, but this one took about that time. And then while she was sitting there in my office, I had her repeat, I am stressed. And she just sat there and was trying to find a reaction and looking up. And she couldn't even say the words without bursting into laughter. And needless to say, both of us were surprised with her strong reaction. I never go into a session with somebody assuming that it's going to work because everybody's different. But because I don't assume that, we were both surprised. And in her case, it released her energy. So laughter is powerful. It reconnects us to joy and to ourselves. And it immediately changes the chemistry in our bodies to be more supportive. So just a little plug in the beginning of this podcast. I do this as a medical intuitive. I work with all sorts of limiting beliefs that we have. So if it feels like something like this beyond I am stressed, it could be I'm not worthy or whatever. If you have something that you're aware of or maybe not even aware of, you can schedule a 20-minute free consultation with me by going to janecphillips.com. And let me help you release what no longer serves you, or at least have the conversation to see if I'd be a good fit. So let's talk about humor as a daily energy tool for you. Just in your daily life, not just for entertainment, but as an intentional energy support. You can use laughter to shift your vibration. Think of it like changing the channel from a low fuzzy station to a higher frequency broadcast. When you're feeling emotionally heavy, even the tiniest chuckle can begin to break the tension. When you're stuck in a spiral of overthinking, watching a silly animal video might be exactly what your nervous system needs to reset. And for those empaths among us, and I'm one of them, who feel other people's emotions deeply, humor is a great way to detangle from it. It's like cutting energetic cords with a smile. Humor helps you return to yourself and recognize, oh, wait, that emotion isn't mine. So some quick tips for using humor as a release valve, and then I have another little story from this last week. So watch or listen to something funny. It could be your comedian that you go to, or a childhood favorite show, or ridiculous animal compilations. All of these, if they make you chuckle, will be helpful. And you can give yourself permission to be silly. One of the things that happens with me is I was going to tell this one story. I'm going to tell the other one. So when I am out in nature, taking a walk or whatever, I started a few years ago to pay attention to if I saw any faces in the environment. So I'm pretty good at noticing a face in a tree or a face in a rock, or picking up a rock and say, why am I thinking to pick this up? And I'll look and there'll be a face staring back at me. And the other thing that happens with me, because I'm really auditory, is they'll give me names. So they'll give me their name. I picked up a rock the other day that was just a little one in all the gravel in the place where I live. And I just looked down and he wanted to be picked up and he told me his name was Alfred. Well, once something names itself, I can't put it back. So he's sitting on my counter in my house. So, and another thing that happened since I was thinking about out of doors is I went to the park that's nearby where I live, And I was sitting there, and one of the neighbors had set up in front of me. I was at a bench and with a table in front of me. And the neighbor came by with his two little boys. He had a 3 and a 5-year-old. And he set up a little frisbee toss for the boys. And in New Mexico, where I am, there's a trail I walk on where they have a whole frisbee toss with several different places. And some of the places where you can toss your frisbee could be like 20, 50, 100 feet away. And some of these guys are really good. But now we have these two little boys, and I'm taking a day off. So I'm looking up some things in my essential oil book. And they're playing, and I'm watching them, and they ask me to play. So I get in there, and I'm not very good at it, but I did some tossing. But then the next thing that happened, and I started to get captivated by this, and I was kind of in a funky mood before I started. So those two little boys were coming over and popping little dandelion heads into my hand. And then they'd come right up to me and reach down on the ground right next to me and pick up a flower I hadn't noticed. And what I found is over time, I became sort of immersed in all the things that you and I, when we're older, we stop noticing. And there was another little boy there who was 21 months old with a different parent. And the woman, his mom, was trying to take him away to go change his diaper because he was pretty saggy. But he wasn't bugged at all by that. And he had been, before the other two boys, the 3 and 5-year-old, had shown up, he was like squatting down and staring hard at the ground and then reaching very carefully in and picking up something and showing it to his mother. And pretty soon she's squatting next to him looking. And what happened over this half an hour, maybe an hour that I was there, all of the angst that I'd had and some of the worries I had were just totally gone. I was the most calm I'd been in probably months, just watching those kids and being in the moment. So while it's not necessarily humor, but it's lightness and enjoyment. And it really moved my energy, and it stuck with me for quite a while until I got back in my head again. So I'm offering, whether you have children, especially if you have young ones, take some time to expose yourself to their view of the world and see if it doesn't help you out, and let yourself go of all the things that you really should be doing and spend some time with your young children. And if you don't have any children, as I don't, maybe you want to go to a park and see if there's some young children playing and just notice what they notice. I noticed some butterflies that I wouldn't have without their help. So, and some of you might be able to, as another way to just lighten up, is besides listening to music, dance, right? So maybe you can do some silly dancing, whether in front of somebody or just on your own, or find a child that you can silly dance with. So even a small smile, if you're having a tough day and it's stressing you, make yourself smile, because it's going to change your physiology and it can help your mood be better. And it sends a smile to your nervous system that you're safe and you can relax. So over this month, I just wanted to let you know that we'll be diving into clearing emotional residue from you, especially if those of you out there listening know that you're an empath. And so we're going to be talking over the next few weeks of how to get rid of some of the emotional residue that's really not yours, but getting in your way. So let's do a little practice together. I've been doing little energy meditation things every time in these podcasts, just to give you an idea of some things you can do in the moment. So if you're not driving or walking where there's no place to sit down, just find a comfortable spot where you won't be disturbed just for a minute or two, and do the breathing thing we talk about. Put your hand on your belly and your hand on your chest, And just breathe into your lower hand, just in and out. And if you're watching this on a replay, then you can pause if you want to as we're doing this, because then you'll have a little more time. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this part. So now this is a fun one. You can begin to imagine light energy bubbling up through you, from your feet, all the way up through your legs, through your torso, your arms, and out the top of your head. Feel it's just like fizzy soda water or sparkling water, and feel it rising from the soles of your feet all the way up through you. And as it bubbles upwards, imagine it's shaking loose any tension, worry, or serious energy in your system. And again, if you're listening on a replay, you can pause here while you do that. And let it travel all the way up to your head, these bubbles, releasing anything that feels stuck. And now picture that fuzzy energy collecting in your heart and spreading outward like laughter. You might feel a smile forming on your lips, or even a little giggle bubbling up. Just let it happen. And again, pause if you need to. Let that lightness expand and let your body feel what it's like to soften. You don't have to keep holding everything in. And if you need help, think of something silly, a memory, a pet, or a goofy moment that you had, and bring that energy in. This is laughter as medicine. This is light as tool. And this is your natural state of joy resurfacing. You are not your stress. You are so much lighter than that. So as a recap, just to think on April Fool's Day about humor, that laughter helps lower stress, it helps release tension, and shifts emotional stuck energy. It boosts your physical health and your energetic balance. And best of all, it's free. It's always available to you. So I encourage you to find one way to laugh on purpose. Try and do it daily. Watch something funny, smile at yourself, take a silly joke, tell a silly joke, or give yourself permission to feel good. And next week, we'll explore how emotional residue lingers in your body and how to release it gently so you don't carry stress longer than you need to. And then until that time, give yourself permission to lighten up, laugh more, and let stress go. And again, if you think I can help you with what I do, you can book a 20-minute consult to see if we would be a match to work together. So thank you all for joining me this week. I'm Jane Phillips. Thank you for joining me on Release Your Potential Now. Be well, stay light, and keep your journey full of laughter. Thank you.
You've been listening to Release Your Potential Now with Jane, your weekly dose of energy wisdom and healing. Tune in on Transformation Talk Radio to unlock the power of energy healing and transform your life one insight at a time. Share this episode with a friend who's feeling stuck and might benefit from a little extra support on their journey. Together, we can create a ripple effect of healing and positivity, empowering individuals to live healthier, more joyful lives. Are you ready to gain control of your life and health? Then visit janecphillips.com to book a session, join a workshop, or explore how energy wisdom can help you heal and thrive.